Hey, baseball season is just around the corner, so if you're a fan, here are 10 baseball mangas that you must read. Let's go! Major. We can't have a baseball manga video without mentioning the GOAT pitcher, Goro, the star and the protagonist of the series Major. This manga is the slam dunk of baseball, the Captain Tsubasa of baseball, and even Dragon Ball Z of baseball. Major follows the story of Goro from his birth till he wins the biggest prize in baseball, which is MLB World Series. This is more than just a baseball story. It deals with drama, PTSD, and racism. In addition, of course, to all sports hardship that you expect from a sport manga. You will get to experience all of the challenges that gets thrown into Goro's life and find out how is he going to overcome it. And believe it or not, it gets insane really fast. His mother dies. His father also dies. He gets injured. He gets the yips. He gets suspended. He gets fired. And the list continues. The baseball games in this manga are pretty intense. It's not like the main protagonist Goro and his team wins all of the matches with the power of friendship and whatnot. No, not at all. When he needs to lose, he loses. When his team sucks, it sucks. So, it never gets boring. And the tension is always building up during the games. For example, this is a minor spoiler by the way, so skip to the next manga if you want to avoid it. During the 9th inning of Japan against the United States in the World Cup final, Goro gets to face the pitcher that he looks up to, Gibson. So, naturally, you'd expect him to win and bring glory to Japan. Nope, after a long and intense battle, he loses. And that's why I love watching Major, because it never gets boring and expected. I recommend watching the anime adaptation of this manga. It covers the entirety of this manga faithfully, without any fillers. And it has 154 episodes plus 3 OVAs. So, give it a try, you won't regret. 1 outs. If Major is the Captain Tsubasa of baseball, 1 outs is the Death Note of baseball. This manga have 19 volumes and an anime adaptation that cover half of the material, and it's pretty decent to watch. The manga covers the story of Saitama Lycons, the weakest team in the Japanese league, and how Towa Tokishi, the protagonist of the story, is going to join them and turn this team around. The twist here, he is going to do that while gambling with the owner of this team, whose main purpose is to sell the Lycons at the lowest cost and the greatest price. The gambling game between Towa and the owner Saikawa is about the value of his contract, and it is called, you guessed it, 1 outs. The salary is decided by how many outs he can get versus how many runs he gives up, and the odds are heavily against Towa. So, it's not only a battle of skill, there's also a psychological warfare between them both. Saikawa is a dirty player, he sabotages his team, bribes other teams, even worsens the condition of his player to try and destroy Towa. So, you get to see Towa overcome him and outsmart him in every turn, using his great eye for details, wits, psychological tricks and skills to beat the owner and to rally his team to overcome the mental hurdles they set for themselves, and finally to win the Japanese championship. Ace of Diamond. Ace of Diamond, or Daiya no Ace in Japanese, follows the story of Sawamura, a wild pitcher who gets scouted into the prestigious Seido, a high school, for 3 years. Currently, Act 1 of the manga follows his first year at Seido, and Act 2 follows his second year, and both of these acts are done. Ace of Diamond is an emotional story that focuses mainly on baseball. The events occur between the training ground and the baseball matches, and the games are detailed. It even go inning by inning and sometimes pitch by pitch. So you get great matches that can last up to 50 chapters. If you want to get the experience, the joy and the heartache of what a Japanese high school student can go through on a daily basis to reach his ultimate dream, which is to play at the national tournament on the greatest stage of them all, the Fukushima Stadium. This is the perfect manga for that. The appeal of Ace of Diamond is the vast number of relatable characters and different personality that each of them have, whether be it in Seido High School or at another high school. It is the type of manga that each character has enough development to get his own spin-off story and be a successful manga as well. Another great aspect of this manga is the beautiful art. The manga features a beautiful and detailed illustration that brings action to life. It is engaging and visually appealing, and adds to the overall enjoyment of reading the manga. The anime adaptation as well does a really good job in delivering and adding to the story. The way that they animate throwing pitches or waving bats is so satisfying. Added to that, the voice acting, the crowd noises, the background music, they all mix together to produce a wonderful masterpiece. Ace of Diamond. Put that on your list, guys. The next manga in this list is a bit of a fun pick to mix things up from the serious baseball manga that I just mentioned, and the title is Breathing In. In another world where baseball is war, a high school ace player will save a weak nation. Yep, that's the title. It's more than a summary than a title, but I guess the mangaka was too lazy at this point to create a good title. Usually, I have a golden rule for picking up what manga to read. If the title is more than a sentence, then it's a no-go. But there are a few exceptions, and this, to be honest, is one of my shameful exceptions.
Shame.
Basically, the plot of this manga is that the greatest high school baseball player of all time dies, and because God, an old Oji-san in this manga, enjoy watching him play, he reincarnate him in another world, where all conflicts are resolved by a baseball game. Basically, Yu-Gi-Oh! But with baseball. The usual thing, a game to decide the fate of millions and millions of people. And of course our hero Taishi starts with the weakest country. So, if you want to see a high schooler play with a bunch of over-sexualized furries, this manga is great for you. Bungo. Bungo is a highly entertaining baseball manga that follows the journey of a boy named Bungo who has an intense passion and obsession for baseball. After learning how to pitch, he sets his sight on competing at the highest level and tries to beat elite players in order to reach and win the national championship. One of the highlights of this manga is its exaggerated and over-the-top characters, which add humor and excitement to the matches, even for those who don't have much knowledge for baseball. The manga features a training arc, a tournament arc, and a national team arc, making it perfect sport shonen manga. With over 300 chapters and counting, Bungo is a manga worth keeping an eye on, as it's likely to be adapted into an anime in the near future. It has the potential to become as popular as Blue Lock, with the correct anime adaptation, and to be a big hit in the anime world. With this manga, we reached the half point of this video, so subscribe you people. Let's continue. Last inning. Hatogaya, a man who loved baseball and yet left it, is set up to take the fall for his company and gets sent to prison. The high school principal and his former coach, whose school is about to lose its baseball program, bails Hatogaya out. But in exchange for getting him out of jail, he has to coach the high school average baseball team. Hatogaya, who was a brilliant catcher in the past, known for reading people like a book, have to make his team compete on the highest level using unconventional methods to overcome their lack of skills, resources and time. And they have to do that and make it to the nationals, or else this team is going to have to be disbanded. This manga shows us a different side of baseball, which is coaching and focus on the many ways a team can improve without using traditional ways. Also, it highlights a hidden aspect of Japan, which is the interference of betting over high school baseball games, which can get really dark. This manga has a realistic approach on bringing characters and the story to life. You won't see any crazy super high schooler or some absurd physics during the games, but what you'll experience is a well-thought story that's well drawn and entertaining. Rookies. Rookies is one of the greatest baseball manga hits in Japan. It even landed a successful Japanese drama that is well known nowadays more than the manga itself. The manga is about Koichi-sensei, who just enrolled at Futaku Tamagawa, which is known for a delinquent baseball team that got suspended last year for fighting during a game. What Koichi comes to discover is that the remaining members are just as bad, and have no willingness to listen to Koichi's advice to better themselves. However, things start to change once the teacher tells the student of a dream called the Koshien, the holy grail of high school of baseball, the Super Bowl of baseball. This very dream is what inspired members to start cleaning up their act, but little do they know that there are bigger challenges that await them. Rookies, in my humble opinion, is a more serious and slightly more interesting version of GTO that treats the same subjects. Any manga plot needs a good twist, and in this manga, Koichi, the baseball coach, besides how he needs to inspire the members and get their act good, also he needs to learn baseball, as he knows nothing of baseball, nada, zero. But you will see him put more effort than anyone else and work harder and harder. He is a great teacher that you will end up loving as you read this manga. I highly recommend this to anyone. It is more than just a baseball manga. It is an inspiring story about leadership, connections, and hard work. Major the Second. Major the Second is a sequel for Major. It is a continuation of Shigenu's story timeline, this time focusing on his son, Daigo, who is not blessed unlike his father with a strong arm, so he ends up as playing a catcher instead. As a standalone manga, I would not really read this manga. It is more light-hearted and the games are not that intense. But there are glimpses of good character development, and let's not forget that the mangaka is the same guy that wrote Major, so this show has hope. Major II focuses on Daigo, Goro's son, that unlike his father, he is more oriented to team play and guiding everyone around him to victory. And with everyone's expectation, seeing that his father is a baseball legend in Japan, you can see him battle with frustration and doubt to overcome these expectations on his own way. There is an anime adaptation for this manga that covers around 80 chapters, but the manga has around 200 chapters, so there is a lot of material to read through if you decide to check it out. Age 2. Hiro was a baseball prodigy alongside with his good friend Hideo, until one unfortunate day he discovered that his arm is permanently damaged, and he can never pitch the ball again. Totally defeated by the news, he made it a mission to avoid any high school with baseball clubs to avoid any further pain. Fortunately for Hiro, the doctor who provided him with the examination ended up being a total scam, and his arm was in a perfect form from the beginning. With the light now shining brightly in the tunnel once again, Hiro immediately draws attention to his dream, which is to create his own team to face off against his friend Hideo in the Koshien. This triumphant story of going from the bottom back to the top is why H2 is revered as one of the better baseball manga to be released. It has an amazing story, amazing character development, and it truly inspires you to keep thriving and striving toward your dream until it becomes a beautiful reality. Isn't that what we all want? Gurazeni. Money, Give Me Money should be the title of this unique and really entertaining manga. It follows the story of the relief pitcher Natsunosuke Bonda, who makes 18 million yen at the very ripe age of 26. This doesn't seem to impress him much because from his perspective he is surrounded by other higher income earning players. His motivation for playing baseball is to make a higher salary to secure his life, as you see him obsessed with this aspect and try to quantify every aspect of his professional life into money. Gurazeni has an anime adaptation that has 24 episodes, and sadly the manga is not translated in English, so I really recommend you give this anime a try until someone is blessed by the gods to translate this masterpiece for us. The anime is really one of the kind, as it drives into the aspect that is never seen, the life of a relief pitcher and how hard it is, instead of focusing on the star player or the ace. Also, this show is surprisingly very informative, as it teaches us how a Japanese professional player spent his life and spent his money. This anime even teaches a thing or two on contract negotiation, so if you're really in the mood of something unique, funny, and informative at the same time, I would recommend Gurazeni. That's it for our list today, guys. Thank you for watching. I hope I shared one or two manga that some of you do not know. One last thing before I leave. Did you know right now, the best baseball player in the world is a Japanese guy named Shohei Ohtani. So, if you have some spare time, check it out. He might be the GOAT, the greatest baseball player of all time. This time, thank you for watching for real, and as always, see you soon.